Welcome back to the VPL. Today we've got Ai vs Riona, two completely different team philosophies facing off. Ai is running her standard Sun core with Torkoal, Walking Wake and Venusaur. Torkoal's Drought sets up Sun, Walking Wake takes full advantage with Photosynthesis and boosted Hydro Stream, and Venusaur is ready to sweep under the Sun with Chlorophyll. Backing that up, she's got a Lowland Mark as a Special Sponge and Fairy Psychic check. Scizor has Steel type and Priority, and Komala for Hazard Control and Status Absorption thanks to its ability Comatose. Riona meanwhile brings a double weather kind of balanced team. Hippowdon sets Sand, Abomasnow brings Snow, meaning she can constantly override Sun and rack up chip damage. The rest of her team forms a very sturdy and unpredictable defensive core. Quagsire with Unaware, Galarian Slocking for special bulk and pivoting, Goldengo to block hazard removal, and Conkeldurr's the physical wallbreaker that is very scary to switch into, and I think this is where it gets tricky. Riona's team doesn't clearly commit to one style or to anything. She can play Sand, she can play Sand Balance, she can play Snow Defense, or just pivot endlessly between her two weather setters, which makes her game plan really hard to predict because it's very chaotic looking at team preview. So Ai doesn't just get to play automatic Sun offense, she has to time her weather turns carefully and constantly adapt to these changing weathers and the unpredictability that Riona's team brings. The big question is, can Ai get her Sun going before Riona starts bringing the absolute chaos to this match and disrupting everything with weather cycling and bulky offense, or will Riona grind down the core before Walking Wake and Venusaur even get the chance to take off? Let's find out. Ai leads with her Torkoal, so she immediately gets her Sun up. Riona leads with Conkeldurr, which is a very strong lead because she can immediately threaten everything with Knockoff. We see the Knockoff doing 30%. Torkoal lost its heavy duty boots, however it's able to get Stealth Rocks out, which is very good. Very good first turn for both trainers. Ai immediately gets into Walking Wake, which gets the special attack boost from Photosynthesis. However, it has to switch into a Drain Punch, and the Drain Punch does huge amounts of damage. Riona has to switch out here. However, she has Mark Punch. Mark Punch is able to kill Walking Wake, and that's one of Ai's threats gone in the third turn without doing anything. Ai goes back into Torkoal. Riona switches into Quagsire here, which is Terra Grass, so doesn't want to terrestrialize. Lava Plume doesn't do anything, even under the Sun. Venusaur, holy. Venusaur switches into Earthquake and gets hit for 35% health. That's so much. Slocking Galar comes out as the special war probably. Alolan Muk is here to catch the Flamethrower. It had a balloon which is popped now. We see Snow. This is a very chaotic match. Alolan Muk attacks with a knockoff, does 37% with a crit. It's good damage, but it's more for utility. Komala comes out as, I'm not sure as what. It knows Brick Break, maybe that's what she wants to do. U-turn does 14%. And Ai goes into Scizor to catch the Blizzard. Do we see Brick Break to get rid of Auroraville? Or maybe Defog? We see Swords Dance. However, with Riona having Quagsire in the team, which has Unaware, It doesn't really matter at this point for Caesar to snowball with Sword Stance. Ai has to get rid of Quagsire first. She switches out into Alolan Mug because she fears the Flamethrower that Riona already revealed, which is a very good switch in. Mug can now maybe Drain Punch to get back some HP. It uses Knockoff to get rid of the Rocky Hammer from Hippowdon. Aurora Veil wore off, and with the switch into Hippowdon, the sand is out. Ai switches into Ciso here, catches the high horsepower, which takes it very good. Bullet Punch does almost nothing. Crunch gets the defense drop. And this is not a situation where Caesar wants to stay in. Ai switches into Torkoal, gets out the Sun again, catches a high horsepower though. And at this point, it looks like Ai is panicking a bit and switching around without a real plan. However, she has Venusaur on the field with Sun now. But that's what I was talking about. Venusaur can't really use the Sun here because Riona can just switch into Abomasnow. And even though Abomasnow might die because it's very low HP, it gets rid of the Sun. That's exactly what Riona does here. Abomasnow comes out, takes 25% damage from rocks. The rest is done from Giga Drain. And getting rid of the Sun that way is very valuable for Riona because now she can go into Gala Slowking and just click Flamethrower and threaten pretty much everyone on Ai's team. Alolan Mug, well, she goes for Ice Beam. Alolan Mug really takes the Ice Beam well. However, Alolan Mug can't do anything against Hippowdon. Rocky Hammer is already knocked off, so Knockoff doesn't do much damage. Alolan Mug gets chip damage. It knows Taunt. Riona has no intention to set up rocks or do anything like that. She attacks and kills Alolan Mug, killing another Pokemon on Ai's team. Venusaur comes out in the sand, is probably faster than Hippowdon. However, Riona has her switch into Galarian Slowking, which I predict with the Earth Power. That was a very strong move. It's not enough to kill the Galarian Slowking, not even with a second Earth Power, and Venusaur dies to the recoil damage of Life Orb. Galarian Slowking survives, and with the ability to Regenerator, you can just switch out now and get huge amounts of HP back. Komala uses Rapid Spin for no real reason. It's faster now, but Conkeldur's carrying Mud Punch kills the Komala, and this does not look good for Ai. Another Mud Punch. We see Conkeldurr sweeping the rest of Ai's team here. Torkoal is very low as well. Catches another Mud Punch. And with that, Riona wins this match 5-0. Congratulations to Riona for winning this. Looking back at this game, I think the key turning point was how effectively Riona managed to deny Sun turns. Torkoal got Sun up early, but every time I tried to build momentum with Venusaur or Walking Wake, Riona either killed the Pokemon in Walking Wake's case, or she immediately switched into Hippowdon and Abomasnow to reset weather, or into Slowking to soak hits, and completely stalled out Ice Pressure. The biggest MVP was definitely Conkeldurr, not just for picking up multiple KOs, but very important KOs. The first kill on Walking Wake was very crucial for winning this match. Every time I tried to reposition, Conkeldurr threatened immediate damage with its priority move, and because it was already burned from Flame Orb, Muk and Caesar couldn't safely switch in. Losing Walking Wake on turn 3 meant that I lost her main offensive switch in, and from that point Riona's defensive core became extremely hard to break. Muk and Caesar did provide some pressure mid-game, but without Sun and without Walking Wake, they couldn't break through the defensive core that was Hippowdon, Slowking and Quagsire. Riona also managed the weather cycling and chip damage really well, I think. Even when Abomasnow didn't do much offensively, she removed Sun and helped wear down Caesar and Komala. So overall, this match really showcased how disruptive and flexible Riona's double weather core is, especially into structured strategies like Sun teams, because it's so unpredictable and very hard to play against if your team is very reliant on one particular weather. You could really see that even a strong Sun core can struggle once the weather control is constantly denied, and the Pokemon that are supposed to use the Sun to sweep are forced into awkward trades. I came in with a very structured and well-prepared Sun team with clear win conditions and a defined game plan. She had defensive switch-ins, but Riona played the complete opposite style. Her approach was unpredictable. That whole chaos made it extremely difficult for Ai to stabilize her strategy or even begin to set up momentum. By denying weather control, rotating into her bulky switch-ins and using Conkeldurr as a constant threat, Riona never allowed Ai to execute her very structured and well-prepared game plan. And that unpredictability, both in cycling through random weather setters and multiple defensive Pokemon for the same attack type, ultimately won her the match. This has been Ai vs Riona. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I see you in the next one.